Alright, I'm back with another recording. So we finished with chapter 2, and we have all the drops in there. And now we're in chapter 3. And there's 5 parts to chapter 3. There's Winters, Threed, Grapefruit Falls, the Fly Honey Factory, and then the Milky Well Sanctuary. So we have to move on to Threed, because when I get to Threed, I want to progress the story so that we can play as Jeff and get through Winters and get all the drops there. But we have a lot of story to progress before we get to Threed. So we might as well get started with that. Okay, so we have to talk with Paula's parents first. Why do I have 2 PS? Oh yeah, I forgot. Well, I don't need these anymore. So now that we've talked with Paula's parents, we now have to go talk to Everdread, the 6th boss of the game, which we defeated previously. And the reason why we have to talk to Everdread is because he will give us $10,000. Because, you know, he's a thief. So he wants to put his troubles on us. But it just so happens that the Runaway 5 band in Tucson is in debt. And coincidentally, their debt is $10,000. So we have to use those $10,000 to pay off their debt. And then the Runaway 5 will take us to Threed. Alright, so Everdread gave us $10,000. And now we have to, I don't even know. I lost the words. So yeah, this group member of the Runaway 5 will give us a backstage pass. And using this backstage pass, we can go see the show. And then we have to talk to this NPC so that we can get let in. And now we get to listen to the first show of the Runaway 5. Alright, let's listen to the banger.
there?
I mean, I don't know.
Don't know what that.
And he didn't even close the door. So now that we listen to the show, we now get to pay off their debt. So now that their debt is paid, they can leave Tucson. Because they're happy that we paid off their debt, they're happy to take us to Threed. Oh yeah, I was supposed to get the picture here. But I guess I didn't walk over the hitbox. That triggers the picture. I don't know, some of the picture locations are so weird. Like, you have to walk over a specific hitbox. Alright, so now they're gonna take us to Threed. It's time to listen to another banger. And the reason why we need the Runaway 5 to go to Threed is because if we try to go to Threed without the Runaway 5, those ghosts in that tunnel would scare us away. And we're actually trapped in Threed once we get here. Because we can't move on to the Dusty Dunes Desert, because ghosts are in that tunnel and they'll scare us out. And then if we try to leave Threed to go to Tucson, the ghosts in the tunnel will scare us out. So we're literally trapped here. So yeah, the Runaway 5 leaves so that they can go on the 4 side. And we're in Threed now. And Threed is invaded by zombies and ghosts, which have been sent out by a member of Gygas's army called Master Belch. So we might as well get some new weapons. So sell this. Sell that. And then get the minor league bat for Ness. And then the thick fry pan for Paula. Now, even though we've made it to our destination, there's still more story to progress. Because again, I want to get through Winters and get all the drops there. And that way we can have Jeff on the team. And with Jeff, you know, the grinding will become a lot faster here in Threed. I've said this before, but you know how I said 2 heads are better than 1? Meaning, with Paula, the grinding will be faster. Well, here in 3 heads are going to be better than 2, because we need Jeff on the team so that the grinding will go by faster. Alright, I'm going to get the picture here. Oh yeah, I remember the first time I did this challenge, I was trying to progress the story to get to Winters, where we play as Jeff alone. And I ended up getting a drop on the first try without trying to grind for it. So that was just random. So you have to go up to north of the graveyard here in Threed, and there we'll see some zombies blocking our path. Oh, I forgot Paula's low in HP. Dude, I completely forgot. Oh, we unlocked PSI Gaming Beta. So yeah, these zombies are blocking the path. And that path over there actually leads to Grapefruit Falls. I'm gonna just use this. So yeah, the zombies block our path. And now we have to go to the hotel to follow a mysterious woman. And this suspicious woman will actually lead us straight into a trap. So yeah, the zombies and ghosts jump us, and then they overwhelm us, and then they lock Ness and Paula within a hidden room in the graveyard of Threed. So yeah, we get locked in, and then Paula comes to a realization and starts telepathically talking to Jeff. And then this will lead to us playing as Jeff alone in Winters. So yeah, this is Winters. And guess what? There's still more story to progress. So yeah, Jeff has to sneak out of his boarding school. So we have to gear Jeff up so that he can face the enemies in Winters. And so that he can escape the boarding school. Get rid of that. Get rid of that too. Oh yeah, I remember back when I made the EarthBound enemy drop challenge movie a few months ago. I think it was back in January or February or something. I remember when I got to the winters part of the challenge, like right after I was done writing the script for that part, I ended up finding out some information about Jeff. So you know how we're in winters? Well, winters is a part of a country in Earthbound that's never explained anywhere, by the way, called Foggy Land. And Foggy Land is supposed to be based off of England, so I ended up finding out Jeff is apparently British. So yeah, if there was voice acting in this game, Jeff would have a British accent. And it's honestly kind of cool that this game's locations is based off of real life locations. Like, come on, Forsyth is just New York City, and we all know that winters and summers are part of Foggy Land, which is supposed to be based off of England. Scaraba is clearly based off of North Africa. Yeah, it's clearly based off of North Africa. And then the Deep Darkness Swamp. Wait, why did I go out here? The Deep Darkness Swamp is definitely based off of Central Africa. And I don't know what the Lost Underworld or the Cliff That Time Forgot is supposed to be based off of. Because, you know, apparently the Lost Underworld and the Cliff That Time Forgot in this game is supposed to be the literal edge of the EarthBound universe. So we have all this stuff. Alright, so Jeff is geared up now. So now we can escape the boarding school. And then we have to take the bubble monkey along. And the bubble monkey is actually useless when it comes to combat. But you literally need him so that you can progress the story. I might as well save the game here so that I don't lose progress. Alright, there's 4 drops in winters. There's the runaway dog, and yes, I already know we did the runaway dog earlier in the game, but for some reason the runaway dog in winters have higher drop rates of dropping a bread roll. So you guys know how in OneNet the runaway dog has a 4 in 120 chance of dropping a bread roll? Well, here in winters for some reason they have a 64 in 120 chance of dropping a bread roll. So it's literally a 50% chance. And then there's the gruff goat, which has a 16 in 128 chance of dropping a salt packet. The red strutting evil mushroom has a 64 in 120 chance of dropping a cookie. And then the cave boy has a 100% chance of dropping a picnic lunch. Oh yeah, and by the way, the cave boy is also another enemy whose drop rate changes throughout the game. And you can only get these guys as drops when you play as Jeff alone in winters. Meaning if I leave and don't get these drops, I will fail the challenge. And there's also 2 more enemies, the worthless protoplasm, which has a 32 in 128 chance of dropping a cookie. And then the mad duck, which has an 8 in 128 chance of dropping a fresh egg. Now, the worthless protoplasm and mad duck aren't permanent enemies here in winters, but they do spawn permanently later in the game. So if I defeat all of them and don't get their drops, then the mad duck will be saved for chapter 4, and then the worthless protoplasm will be saved for chapter 7. Alright, so let's go. And no, the spiteful crow's drop does not change. It's still a 100% chance of them dropping a cookie. So we don't care about the spiteful crows right now. I literally just said we don't care about spiteful crows. Oh, there's a gruff goat. Alright, so this is gruff goat number 1. Wait, I said I wasn't gonna count the encounters anymore. Now you do have to be careful around the gruff goat because they do a ton of damage to Jeff. And they do take a while to go down. But I have to get their drop. Because like I said, if I leave this... What? I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore. If I leave without getting any of the enemy's drops here in winters, then I will fail the challenge. Because you can only get these enemies' drops when you play as Jeff alone in winters. You do return to winters many times in the game, but you can't get these guys' drops anymore, because then new enemies will spawn. So yeah, I literally have to get these guys' drops before I leave, because I will fail the challenge otherwise. Now, what I really want to fight is... Yeah, a runaway dog. I was just gonna say that. So it is a 50% chance. So we quite literally get it or we don't here. Let's find out right now. Yep, we got it. There's the runaway dog's drop again. So yeah. I don't know. For some reason, certain enemies have their drops change to different items or their drop rates change. And the runaway dog is one of those enemies. The gruff goat despawned. Are you kidding me? Never mind, there's another one. Wow. Let's find out if we get the drop here. We didn't. So yeah, that's the reason why I wanted to get winters out the way. Most of it. Why am I saying most of them? All of them have high drop rates. So yeah, winters here is one of the easiest parts of this entire challenge. Because it's like the game is giving us mercy here. And I really need high drop rates here, because especially after getting the territorial oaks drop in the last recording. Right, let's see if we get the drop now. We didn't get it. Oh my god, the bubble monkey is actually useless. He's literally just standing there. No, we don't care about spiteful crows. We already got their drop. They were literally the first drop of the game. Where the goats at? Like, I kind of need them so that I don't fail the challenge. So yeah, we're gonna be here in winters for a while. Oh, the bubble monkey got a smash hit. Oh, we got it. There we go, the salt packet. Alright, let's move on to the next enemy. So next up is the Strut and Evil Mushroom. And just like with the Cave Boy, the Strut and Evil Mushroom's drop changes throughout the game. And for some reason there's two different types of the Strut and Evil Mushroom. The one we're going to be fighting here in winters is the red one, which I previously explained drops cookies. And then there's another version of the Strut and Evil Mushroom where it's green this time. And we're gonna encounter that version in the Milky Well Sanctuary. And the green version drops an item called a Rust Promoter, which does a lot of damage to metallic enemies. Let's get the picture here. So next up in Winters, we're gonna go through a dungeon called the Brick Road Dungeon, which has the worthless protoplasm and Mad Duck. And like I said, if we don't get their drops in there, then we can save them for later chapters, because they do spawn permanently later in the game. Right, we're in the Brick Road Dungeon now. Now, we don't care about the Rowdy Mouse because we already got their drop back in chapter 1. So yeah, they don't matter here. Alright, so there's the Mad Duck that I was talking about earlier. And then here's the worthless protoplasm that I was talking about. There's a high chance we're getting the drop, but there's still a chance we don't get it. I'm just saying, it's most likely we do get it. Okay, we didn't get the drop. Let's get the picture here. That was the doorbell. I'm gonna go answer it real quick. All right, I'm back. All right, another mad duck. Okay, another worthless protoplasm. Dude, I'm just now realizing this recording is going to be long as heck. But at least the unedited version of this. Oh yeah, we still didn't get the worthless protoplasms to drop. So yeah, we're gonna have to save the worthless protoplasm for chapter 7, and then the mad duck will be saved for chapter 4, since we didn't get their drops. So yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine, guys. We have an opportunity later in the game to get their drops. And now we have his new weapon, the stun gun. Get this stupid pop gun out of here. Don't need that. So yeah, this right here is Brick Road, who will become a very important person later in the game. Let's save the game here. Now let's move on to the next enemy, which is the red strutting evil mushroom. Oh yeah, this cave here is actually the Rainy Circle Sanctuary, which is the 4th sanctuary of the game. But we can't actually fight the Sanctuary Guardian here, because apparently only Ness can fight Sanctuary Guardians. I don't know, there's just something about Ness specifically. Oh yeah, you can find attack slugs in this cave, where you play as Jeff Alone in Winters. And I still have PTSD from trying to get the attack slugs drop earlier in the challenge. Yeah, it didn't take me 300 plus attempts to get their drop. It didn't take me over 4 hours to do it. Nah, it didn't. It didn't at all. If I'm being honest, I did not see him at all. Mainly because I'm sitting kind of far away from the screen. Alright, so here's this red shark and evil mushroom. So there's a high chance we get the drop here. Oh, we got it first try. That's great. And then I immediately get rid of the drop by eating it. We need this cheat bracelet so that Jeff can have extra defense. Okay, I do not want to fight those strutting evil mushrooms. So yeah, there's the Sanctuary Guardian over there that we can't fight. Because we need Ness in order to fight him for some reason. I don't know, it's just never explained why we can't fight him earlier in the game. Like, to be fair, it would be really difficult to fight that Sanctuary Guardian over there at this point in the game. But still, it's never explained why we need Ness. Basically full health. Alright, so now it's time for the last drop here in Winters, which is from the Cave Boy. And you can only get this drop from the Cave Boy when Jeff is alone in Winters. They still do spawn later in the game, but their drop changes. So yeah, there's the Cave Boy. So yeah, at this point in the game, I somehow got a green swirl on them. So yeah, at this point in the game, they have a 100% chance of dropping a picnic lunch. And the thing about this guy is that you know you're not supposed to fight him at this point in the game because he has a significant amount of HP. But at this point in the game, there's something that hinders him. He has a high miss rate. But for some reason, he landed a hit on me 3 times. Like, dude, what kind of luck is that? Like, dude, he's supposed to have a high miss rate. Dude, you can't be serious. There we go. I manipulated the RNG so that it can change the battle. So yeah, he has a high miss rate. It just so happens that he managed to hit me so many times. So yeah, it's almost like if you defeat him when you know you're not supposed to fight him at this point in the game rewards you with his drop, which is, you know, a 100% chance of happening. Also, I remember the first time I did this challenge, I managed to get his drop, and then Jeff was left on 1 HP. Oh, come on, dude. Bro, come on. Okay, there we go. We got his drop. We got it. So yeah, that's all the enemies in Winters. So Winters is done. Oh yeah, we gotta get the picture here too. Forgot. So now Jeff has to talk to Dr. Andonuts, which is his father. And he'll let us take the Skyrunner, which is a machine that lets us fly. And with the Skyrunner, Jeff will travel to 3 so that he can save Ness and Paula. And then he will become a party member. That's the doorbell again. All right, I'm back. So yeah, we have to talk to Dr. Andonuts. And Dr. Andonuts is another important person in the game. And my question is, how does Dr. Andonuts know who Paula is? They've never met before. So we get to listen to a banger when going to 3. Yeah, this is Foresight right here, which is in chapter 4. And then this is the Dusty Dunes Desert, which is also in chapter 4. now we're in 3, so Jeff can save Ness and Paula. But he's trying to locate where they are. And he managed to locate them, and they're right underneath there. So now he's gonna crash land. Alright, so now we have Jeff on the team. So now grinding for the drops isn't gonna take as long. And then I can give all the food to Paula. Because if I'm being honest, whenever I play this game, I always make Paula the food carrier. Because I mean, her offense isn't that good compared to the other characters, so she might as well be useful for something. And then using the bad key machine, which Jeff got earlier in Winters, we can escape this room. Nope. Not in the mood for that right now. I'm just trying to save the game. So that is it for this insanely long recording. And in the next recording, we're gonna do the enemies in 3, and it's gonna take a while because there's a lot of drops to get it in 3.